The morning sun had barely risen above the tall palm trees of Umuaka village when the people gathered at the stream. Women balanced water pots on their heads, chatting and laughing as they filled them. Children played in the shallow paths, chasing tiny fishes with their bare hands. It was a normal morning until a sharp cry cut through the air. "Hey, whoa! Come and see something strange!" shouted a young girl, dropping her calabash in shock. Everyone turned. A few moments later, a woman came running from the bushes. In her arms was a newborn baby, wrapped in an old piece of cloth. The baby was crying loudly, but that was not what made everyone gasp. The baby's skin was as white as cotton. In Umuaka, no one had ever seen such a child before. Every villager had dark, rich brown skin that glowed in the sun. But this baby, he looked different, almost like he had been carved from chalk. "Chineke, what kind of spirit child is this?" one old woman whispered. Another woman crossed herself. "Maybe the river goddess left him behind." The crowd began to murmur, fear mixing with curiosity. The woman who found the baby, Mama Nena, looked around helplessly. "Please, he was lying near the river bank. I don't know who left him there." The village head, Chief Okoro, soon arrived, followed by some elders. He examined the crying baby carefully. "He is only a child," the chief said slowly. "We should not judge him because of his skin." But not everyone agreed. "This one is an omen," muttered Elder Daike. "If we keep him, bad things might happen." Chief Okoro frowned. "And if we leave him to die, what kind of people will that make us?" The people fell silent. No one dared to challenge the chief, but fear still hung in the air. That day, after a long discussion, the elders decided that Mama Nena, who found the child, would take care of him until they discovered his origin. She agreed, though her husband, Papa Namdi, was not happy about it. That night, in their small mud house, Papa Namdi sat beside the fire, shaking his head. "You have brought trouble into this house, Nena. The child's skin is too white. What if he brings bad luck?" Mama Nena looked down at the baby in her arms. His tiny fingers curled around hers as she slept peacefully. "He is just a baby," she said softly. Her husband sighed deeply. "The villagers will talk. You know how they are." "I know," she said. "But I also know that kindness is what makes us human." They named the boy Obioma, meaning kind heart. As the years passed, Obioma grew into a bright and gentle boy. He loved to help others and always shared whatever little he had. But despite his good nature, life was not easy for him. Whenever he went to the stream, other children would point at him and laugh. "Look at the white boy," they teased. "Maybe he fell into a pot of chalk." Some children refused to play with him. Others whispered that he was a ghost who would disappear at night. Obioma would run home crying, and Mama Nena would comfort him. "My son," she would say, wiping his tears, "never allow what they say to make you bitter. The world will always have people who do not understand what is different." Obioma nodded, though his heart hurt. He only wanted to belong. One day, during market day, something happened that changed everything. The market square was full of people from nearby villages. Stalls were decorated with yams, plantains, baskets, and colorful fabrics. The air smelt of roasted corn and fried akara. Obioma followed her mother to help her sell palm oil. While they arranged their goods, a loud shout came from the far end of the market. "Thief! Thief!" People began to run. A young boy had been caught stealing a small bag of salt. The crowd quickly surrounded him, ready to beat him. "Please, I was hungry," the boy cried, shaking his fear. "I only wanted to help my sick mother." But no one listened. The villagers raised their sticks and shouted angrily. Before anyone could act, Obioma ran forward and stood in front of the boy. "Please stop," he shouted. The crowd went silent. "Obioma, move away," someone barked. "This thief deserves punishment." "No," Obioma said, his small voice trembling but firm. "He is just hungry. If we hurt him, are we not worse?" There was murmuring among the crowd. Mama Nena ran to pull her son back, but Chief Okoro, who had been nearby, raised his hand. "Wait," he said. "Let the boy speak." Obioma looked around nervously, but continued. "When people are in pain, they do things out of fear. We should help him, not harm him." The chief's eyes softened. "You are right, my son. Sometimes kindness teaches better than punishment." He turned to the crowd. "Let us take food to his sick mother instead." That day, Obioma's courage melted many hearts. Even those who had once mocked him began to see him differently. Later that evening, as they walked home, Mama Nena placed her hand on his shoulder. "You did well, my son. You saw with your heart, not your eyes." Obioma smiled shyly. "I only did what you always say, Mama. Kindness makes us human." The story of Obioma's brave act spread throughout Umuaka, but not everyone was happy. Some still whispered that his white skin was a sign of strange powers. Elder Daike especially could not rest. "That boy is too different," he told Chief Okoro. "He might bring trouble one day." Chief Okoro frowned. "And if we leave him to die, what kind of people will that make us?" The people fell silent. No one dared to challenge the chief, but fear still hung in the air. That day, after a long discussion, the elders decided that Mama Nena, who found the child, would take care of him until they discovered his origin. She agreed, though her husband, Papa Namdi, was not happy about it.
Chief Okoro shook his head. "Sometimes wisdom comes in strange forms, Daike. The gods may be testing us." The next few months brought changes. A terrible drought struck the village. The river began to dry up. Crops wilted and hunger spread. The people gathered under the big Iroko tree to seek answers. "The gods are angry," Elder Daike said firmly. "It began when the strange boy arrived. We must send him away." Fear spread through the crowd like wildfire. Mama Nena clutched Obioma's hand. "No, he is innocent." But the people were restless. "Let him go," they cried. "Maybe peace will return." Chief Okoro stood slowly. "We will consult the village priest first. If the gods demand it, we will act." The priest, an old man named Nwosu, lived deep in the forest. He was respected by all. The next morning, a group of elders, including Mama Nena, Papa Namdi, and Chief Okoro, carried Obioma to him. Inside the small shrine, the air smelt of herbs and smoke. The priest gazed at the boy silently for a long time. "Spirit of our ancestors," he murmured, shaking his cowrie shells, "reveal the truth." The shells fell, clinking softly. The priest's eyes widened. "This child," he said slowly, "is not a curse. He is a blessing." The elders exchanged confused looks. "The gods sent him to test your hearts, to see if you would show love to one who looks different. But your fear has blinded you." Chief Okoro bowed his head. "Then we have failed." "Not yet," said the priest. "You still have a chance. Show kindness and the land will heal." The elders returned with heavy hearts. That evening, Chief Okoro called the villagers together and told them what the priest had said. Some believed, others doubted, but no one dared to question the priest. Days passed. Obioma continued to help where he could, fetching water for old women and sharing his food with hungry children. Slowly, the drought began to ease. Clouds gathered again, and one afternoon, rain finally fell. The villagers danced and sang in the rain, shouting for joy. For the first time, many began to look at Obioma with gratitude instead of fear. But deep down, Elder Daike still could not accept it. He stood under the rain, watching the boy play and laugh with other children. His heart was full of confusion. Could it be, he muttered to himself, that the gods truly sent him? As the rain washed the dust from the earth, it also began to wash away the fear in people's hearts. Yet, peace was not complete. Something else was still waiting to test the village. Something that would reveal who truly understood the meaning of empathy and kindness. And when that day came, it would change Umuaka forever.
The days after the rain were bright and full of life. The stream in Umuaka flowed again, singing softly through the rocks. The air smelled fresh and the crops began to grow. For the first time in many months, the people of Umuaka smiled freely. But peace, as always, does not last forever. One hot afternoon, when the sun burned red in the sky, a strong wind began to blow through the village. The palm trees swayed wildly and dry leaves scattered across the dusty ground. No one expected what was about to happen. It started in the compound of Elder Dike. His wife, Mama Chika, had been roasting yams on a charcoal stove. The wind lifted a burning ember and tossed it into a nearby pile of dry grass. Within moments, flames rose high, spreading quickly to the fence made of palm fronds. "Fire! Fire!" people screamed, running from all directions. The wind carried the flames from house to house. Soon, half of the village was in danger. The thatched roofs caught fire like dry paper. Smoke covered the sky, turning day into night. Men formed a line from the stream, passing buckets of water, but the fire was too strong. Women screamed and tried to save their children. Goats and chickens ran wildly through the streets. In the middle of the chaos, Obioma was fetching water with other children. His heart pounded as he saw the flames moving towards Chief Okoro's compound, where the village's sacred drum and ancestral symbols were kept. If those burned, it would be a great tragedy. Without thinking twice, Obioma dropped his bucket and ran toward the fire. "Obioma!" Mama Nena screamed, "Come back!" But he did not listen. He wrapped a wet cloth around his face and dashed through the thick smoke. The heat was unbearable and his eyes watered, but he kept going. Inside the burning compound, flames danced like angry spirits. Obioma could barely see. He found the sacred drum lying near the wall, partly burning. He grabbed it, ignoring the pain as sparks fell on his arms, and dragged it out through the smoke. Outside, some men saw him and ran to help. "The boy is inside," one shouted. They poured water to clear a path and rushed in, finding Obioma coughing but still trying to save other items. Together, they carried him out just as part of the roof fell behind them. When the fire finally died down hours later, half of Umuaka was gone. Many families lost their homes. The air was full of sadness and smoke. Elder Dike sat on the ground, staring at the black remains of his compound. His eyes were red from both the smoke and tears. Later that evening, Chief Okoro called the people to gather in the open square. His face was tired, but his voice was firm. "Today, we lost much," he said, "but we also saw bravery. A boy, whom many once called strange, risked his life to save what belongs to all of us." All eyes turned to Obioma, who sat beside his mother. His clothes were burned in places and his arm was wrapped in a cloth, but he was alive. The chief continued, "If this boy had not acted, our sacred drum and many homes would have been destroyed completely. Elder Dike lowered his head in shame. He stood slowly and walked to the center of the crowd. I was wrong, he said, his voice trembling. I feared what I did not understand. I called this child a curse, but today he has shown that his heart is purer than mine. He turned to Obioma. My son, forgive me. Obioma looked up with gentle eyes. There is nothing to forgive, sir, he said. We all learn at our own time. The crowd fell silent, touched by his words. Then Chief Okoro spoke again. Let this be a lesson to us all. A person's worth is not in the color of their skin or in what makes them different. It is in the goodness they carry within. From that day forward, everything changed in Umuaka. The villagers began to rebuild together. They worked hand in hand, sharing food, tools, and laughter. Obioma was no longer called the white boy. He was now known as Obioma the Brave. Children followed him everywhere, asking him to tell stories. Women smiled when he passed, and men greeted him with respect. One morning, as the sun rose golden over the farmlands, Elder Dike came to visit Mama Nena's home. He carried a small goat and a basket of yams. Please accept this, he said. It is my way of thanking you for raising such a good child. Mama Nena smiled warmly. It is not my doing alone. The gods chose him for a reason. As the days turned into months, peace returned to the land. But Obioma's heart remained humble. He never saw himself as a hero. Whenever anyone praised him, he would simply say, I only did what any heart full of kindness would do. Then one rainy evening, something remarkable happened. A group of traders arrived in the village from far away. Among them was a tall man with skin as white as Obioma. The villagers stared in surprise. They had never seen such a person since the boy's arrival years ago. The man introduced himself as Mr. Bamidele. He spoke gently and said he had been searching for a child who had gone missing many years ago near the river. He explained that his wife had died while giving birth, and during a flood, their baby was swept away. When he saw Obioma, his eyes filled with tears. This is my son, he whispered. I can feel it. The villagers gasped. Chief Okoro asked Priest Nwoso to confirm, and after speaking with the gods and listening to the man's story, the truth became clear. Obioma was indeed his lost child. The village rejoiced, but Mama Nena's eyes were wet with tears. Though she was happy, her heart ached at the thought of losing the boy she had raised as her own. Mr. Bamidele turned to her gently. You will never lose him, he said. You gave him life when I could not. You are his mother as much as I am his father. So, Obioma grew up with two families, one by birth and one by love. He often said that both were gifts from the gods. Years later, when he became a man, Obioma built a large school in Umuaka, where children from different villages and backgrounds came to learn together. On the wall above the school's entrance, he wrote these words: Kindness sees no color. Empathy knows no difference. The heart is what makes us human. Every child who read those words carried the message in their hearts, and long after Obioma grew old and grey, his story continued to be told by the firesides of Umuaka, teaching generation after generation that love is stronger than fear, and that true beauty lies in the kindness of one's soul. The elder said that when the moon shines over the village, you can still hear the laughter of the boy with the white skin playing among the children by the stream, reminding everyone that what makes us different is what makes us special. And so, the people of Umuaka lived in peace, their hearts bound by understanding and love. never again judging by what they saw, but by what they felt within. The end.